You wake up one morning and everything is gone. Not in a dramatic movie way. No explosions. No headline about you. Just gone. Your savings are wiped. Your investments are down bad. Your credit score looks like it fell down a flight of stairs. You still have your job. You still have your brain. But financially, you're back at zero. And it's 2026. Inflation never really came back down. Housing didn't crash the way people promised. Wages didn't magically catch up. So the question isn't, how do I get rich? It's much simpler. Where do you even start? Because here's the uncomfortable truth no one likes to say out loud. Most financial advice completely breaks down when you're starting over. And to understand why, you have to forget almost everything you were told growing up, starting with the very first rule people swear by. The biggest lie in personal finance is that investing is step one. You're told to start early, compound over time, just put something into the market. That advice works great if your life is stable. But if you're starting over in 2026, stability is the rarest asset you have. Markets don't reward desperation, they punish it. When you're broke or fragile, every dip feels personal. Every red day makes you want to panic. And panic is how people lock in losses. If you invest before your foundation is solid, you're not compounding wealth, you're compounding stress. Because now every bill, every emergency, every unexpected expense forces you to pull money out at the worst possible time. So no, the first move isn't stocks. It isn't crypto. It isn't some high-yield opportunity. The first move is boring, unsexy, and absolutely non-negotiable. You need margin. And that means something most people avoid at all costs. You need to look at your expenses like an enemy, because they are. But cutting expenses isn't about being cheap. It's about buying yourself time. And time is the one thing money can't replace once it's gone. Which brings us to the most misunderstood step of starting over. Budgets fail because life doesn't care about your spreadsheet. People love budgeting apps. They love categories. They love rules. But rules collapse the moment something goes wrong. Your car breaks. Your rent jumps. Your hours get cut. Now the budget isn't off. It's useless. So if you're starting over in 2026, don't build a budget. Build a runway. A runway is simple. How many months can you survive if nothing improves? Not how much you hope to save. Not what you plan to earn. Just survival math. Rent, food, utilities, transportation, insurance. Nothing else matters at first. Your goal is to stretch that runway as far as possible with the least friction. That might mean downsizing. That might mean roommates. That might mean swallowing pride and cutting something you thought you deserved. Not forever, just long enough to breathe. Because once you have runway, your decisions change. You stop reacting. You start choosing. And that mental shift alone is worth more than any investment return. But there's one expense that quietly destroys more runways than anything else, and almost no one addresses it early enough. Debt isn't always evil, but high-interest debt is a financial parasite. Credit cards don't care that you're starting over. They don't care about inflation. They don't care about your intentions. They compound against you every single day. If you're carrying balances at 20, 25, 30% interest, nothing else matters yet. Not investing, not side hustles, not optimization. You're trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. And here's the part people don't like hearing. Paying off high-interest debt is a guaranteed return. No volatility, no waiting, no market cycles. A paid-off 24% APR card is better than a great year in the stock market. Every dollar you free up is permanent cash flow, which means more runway, which means more control. This is where starting over actually starts to feel possible. But there's a trap here, because once the debt pressure eases, people rush straight into the next mistake. They try to do everything at once, and that's how they end up right back where they started. When people feel behind, they scatter. They open 3 side hustles. They start flipping things online. They dabble in freelancing. They chase whatever worked for someone else last month. Busy doesn't mean effective. If you're starting over in 2026, your income strategy needs one thing above all else: predictability. Not potential, not hype, just consistency. The fastest way to stabilize financially isn't to chase upside, it's to increase your floor. That usually means one of 3 things: making yourself more valuable where you already are, switching to a higher-paying role with similar skills, locking in a simple, boring second income stream you can actually sustain. Not scale, not passion, just reliable cash flow. Because predictable income paired with low expenses creates leverage, and leverage is what lets you take smart risks later, not desperate ones. But income alone won't save you if you don't change how you relate to money itself. And this is where most people quietly sabotage themselves. Starting over messes with your head. You compare yourself yourself to where you should be. You scroll past people who look 10 steps ahead. You feel late. So you make emotional decisions. You splurge because you're tired of being responsible. You avoid checking accounts because it makes you anxious. You delay action because it feels overwhelming. But money doesn't respond to feelings. It responds to systems. If you're rebuilding, you need objective markers, not vibes, not motivation. Simple rules. Net worth direction matters more than net worth size. Cash flow matters more than income. Consistency beats intensity every time. You don't need to win fast. You need to not lose again. And that mindset shift is what finally unlocks the last step, the one everyone thinks should come first. Investing works best when it's boring, when it's automatic, when it's unemotional, when it's almost an afterthought. If you've rebuilt your runway, eliminated toxic debt, stabilized income, and stopped reacting emotionally, now the market becomes a tool instead of a threat. You're not chasing returns, you're buying ownership. You're not watching charts, you're letting time work. And suddenly, all that advice you were given years ago starts making sense, because now you're actually in a position to use it. But here's the thing most people miss. Starting over isn't a failure. It's a reset with information you didn't have the first time. And that's the real advantage. If I had to start over financially in 2026, I wouldn't try to be impressive. I wouldn't rush. I wouldn't optimize too early. I wouldn't pretend things are fine when they aren't. I'd build stability first, then flexibility, then growth. Because money doesn't reward speed, it rewards position. And starting over, as uncomfortable as it is, gives you the chance to choose that position intentionally. Most people never do. They just keep reacting. And that's why starting over, done right, can quietly put you ahead in the long run.